What's up guys, LeopoldTheBrave here, letting you know that this is going to be my last I've Never Seen The Walking Dead video. I'm still watching the series, I'm like up to season 5 right about now. But the reason I'm not going to be doing these anymore is because they really don't get any views. And they just take up a bit more time because, it already takes like 45 minutes to watch a single episode, and then add me recording my thoughts on it on top of that, and while a couple minutes may not seem like much, it really stacks up when you do it every single episode. So it's just taking a bit too much time, and no one's really paying attention to it, so I figured I'm just going to keep watching on my own and not record the rest of my thoughts. But hopefully the few of you that did pay attention to it are okay with that. I still am enjoying the series very much, but with all that said, this is the last one, so here are my thoughts on the final group of episodes I recorded. There we go. What's up guys, LeopoldTheBrave here, and welcome back to another I've Never Seen The Walking Dead. We're at season 4 episode 6, and the governor is showing up and being different. So the episode started out with him being a super quiet, grumpy Gus because he lost everything, which he deserved to do, because he was terrible. And he was just being over dramatic about everything, and they were trying really hard to make us sympathize with him. Like, they were giving us, like, if you've seen Avatar The Last Airbender, the Zuko alone episode, they were trying to give us a lot of that vibe. Like, he lost everything, he was wandering, his identity was hidden, so he was just new to people that he met. Like, people didn't know of him, or who he was, or what he had done, so he was, like, basically starting over, pretty much. So he was helping out people, even though they have no idea who he is, and just gaining their trust. And I think he genuinely does care a little bit, but I'm not so sure. He started loving on someone like in a couple nights. I couldn't fall for that dude. Come on, after Andrea and what you did to Maggie, even though you lost your wife and daughter, that just didn't do it for me. That didn't gain my trust with you. But anyways, yeah, this pretty much dealt with his side of the story. Just trying to get back on his feet after he lost everything. And at the end of the episode, he fell into the pit that he kept. The one that Milton burnt all the zombies in. Walkers, sorry. He fell in the pit, and he was discovered by one of his men, so I don't know if that guy's gonna spill the truth on what the governor did, or if he's gonna help play along and keep it a secret, or if he's gonna be against the governor. I don't know, I guess we're gonna see. But I keep making smacking noises. Oh my gosh. But anyways, see you guys in the next episode. Season 4, episode 7. So, the governor was discovered in that pit by Martinez and taken into a new camp, with new people and a new leader and all that. But of course, the governor didn't wait around. It only took a couple of days before he killed everyone who was supposedly in charge and then took charge for himself. Of course, at first I thought he didn't want to do that again, but he never changed. They tried too hard to make us sympathize with him last episode. I did not believe it for a second. Like, maybe a tiny second I did, but not like a full second. More like 0.57 of a second, to be specific. But yeah, he was brought into this new camp with the people he was staying with, and he's trying to protect them, but he's also, like, conflicted because he wants revenge on Rick and the gang at the prison, because he discovered where it was at the end of the episode, and he was aiming a gun at Michonne and Herschel. I hope he doesn't shoot either of them. Why doesn't he shoot someone else? I can't think of anyone else I want him to shoot right now, but none of them, please. So, the governor is battling his desire for revenge, but also trying to protect his new people, and maybe try to be a better leader this time. But I don't know, I think he's just gonna repeat history. I think he's near to being wiped out. Hopefully he dies by the end of this season, because I don't think I can deal... I don't think I could deal with another season of his overdramatic butt. Because, I took pretty much almost a half a year break from the show, and I'm still sick of this guy. But thankfully, we're hopefully getting back to Rick and the gang next episode, since we just saw some of them at the end of this episode. But yeah, either way, there's going to be a huge explosion of conflict and guns and death, and it's not going to be fun. And hopefully it happens sooner than later, because I can't deal with another entire season of this. I don't want this to be a repeat of season 2, so hopefully they end it quick, and hopefully it's soon. And hopefully no one good dies. Oh boy. Fingers crossed for next episode. I only want the governor to go down. Everyone else can be fine. They can all team up with the prison to take down the governor for being corrupt and evil. But yeah, see you guys in the very next episode. Oh boy. Oh my gosh. I knew there was going to be an explosion of conflict. I knew it was coming, but I did not think it would be next episode. Jeez Louise. Jeez Louise, jeez Louise, jeez Louise. Let me jeez Louise for a second as I process my thoughts on what just happened. Jeez Louise, jeez Louise, jeez Louise. Okay. So the governor just kind of snapped once he saw Michonne and Herschel. And, oh my gosh. He pretty much decided then and there that he was going to try and take over the prison. So he knocked out Michonne, and then held Herschel hostage, kidnapped them both, and was like using them both as bait to lure Rick into giving up the prison. And of course, Rick didn't want to do that, so he was trying to negotiate with the governor to let go of Herschel and Michonne and keep the prison at the same time. He was trying so hard to negotiate, and it was... I mean, I could understand being in his position, because people were going to die either way, whether he gave it up or he negotiated. I don't know. But yeah, the governor, he had Michonne's sword, he took it, he swung, and he chopped Herschel's head off. Oh my gosh. And that led to a massive shootout. Glenn made it out. I hope Maggie made it out. Tyrese was fighting. I hope he made it out with the little girls. But they lost Judith too, and it was depressing. And Carl, I don't think we've seen Carl cry in a while. It was enough to break him, and oh my gosh, the aftermath of this is going to be super rough. I can't even imagine what these characters are gonna go through after that. That's like one of the biggest things that happened. Like ever since the barn got taken over by walkers. I just still don't know what to think. But a good positive of this is that the governor is finally gone. Michonne sliced him in the chest. She stabbed him through the back, and I think it pierced his heart. I don't know. He was probably going to die anyways within a couple minutes. But then the girl he was hitting on, she came in and shot him, so that's good. That's justice right there. But it's depressing because they lost the little girl because the governor wasn't there. He should have learned his lesson, and he didn't, and he paid the price for it. She would have still been alive if he had stayed with all his men and they were there to help her, but nope. He left. It happened. He had to pay for it. And maybe that girl will join the prison gang now. I don't know. I guess we'll see in the next episode, but I'm just like shocked beyond belief at what happened this episode. I don't even have words to describe it. I mean, I guess it makes sense because it was the mid-season finale that the explosion was going to happen then. But that was so sudden and just out of nowhere. I mean, it wasn't out of nowhere because there was a build-up, but that build-up went from like 0 to 100 and oh my gosh, thoughts just running and oh boy. Either ways, I'll see you guys in the next episode because I don't know how to process this. Season 4, Episode 9. Oof. I needed this breather. This is like a calm, episodic tale after the storm. I really needed this to help me calm down after last episode. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. But yeah, I mean, it's episodic in the sense that it doesn't really forward the plot any. It just kind of develops a couple characters in a neat little 40-minute package. So Carl and Rick got separated from everyone else, the people on the bus, and Michonne and Judith's gone. So those two were on their own, looking for places to stay, looking for food. They found a nice little house to stay at, and they're crashing there. They had a little bickering argument. Rick thought Carl wasn't wasn't being careful enough. He thought he couldn't keep Carl safe. He thought Carl was being reckless, so he was screaming at him, trying to get him to stay in his place, giving him orders, yada yada yada. And for the most part, I agreed with Rick because Carl is being a little turd and talking big, and I would side with Carl if he could actually walk the walk and not just talk the talk. 2 separate times, he almost got killed by ordinary walkers. And it wasn't like a horde. It wasn't like a horde. It was like 1 to 3 walkers at most. And he almost died both times. Oy, that kid. But yeah, he got humbled when he thought his dad was a walker. Because Rick was sleep groaning and moving. Because he was still recovering from his injuries from fighting the governor. So he was groaning, making noises, and Carl thought he was a walker, getting ready to shoot, and he just couldn't do it. Take that, little boy, you're not ready yet. That's what you get for being so full of yourself and assuming that you could do more. You're not ready yet, Carl. You're not ready yet, Carl. But yeah, as for Michonne, we didn't see any of the people on the bus, like Glenn and Maggie and all the kids and Daryl and everyone. We didn't see all them yet, but we did see Michonne. She was going through the forest, fighting her inner demons, and just hacking and slashing out all of her feelings, and taking out all her anger on the walkers. And we saw a little bit of her backstory, her old boyfriend, kid, yada yada. And it's nice, because by the end of the episode, she found the house that Rick and Carl are staying at, so they're just kind of chilling. So, it was a pretty nice package that helped me feel better after the tragedy that was last episode. So see you guys in the next one. Season 4, Episode 10. This was a neat little episode. It was like a bunch of tiny episodes crammed into one. Each little tiny episode focusing on a different group of cell inmates. We started off with Beth and Daryl, I believe, because she was writing in her journal and narrating it. And they were the smallest group. They were kind of hopeless, just wandering around, yada yada yada. Wait, hold on, let me think. No, it was like 4 episodes crammed into one. Yeah, 4 episodes crammed into one. But yeah, it started off with Beth and Daryl. They're on their own. They're the smallest group. They're like 2 people. They didn't really do much. They just kind of wandered around. Daryl's losing hope. He's kind of sad. I feel bad for him. But that was pretty much it. Then the next group we move on to the 2 girls. Judith, who's alive. I'm so happy. I was so scared. I thought she'd gotten taken. But Judith's alive with the 2 girls and Tyrese. And Carol's back! Carol! I didn't think she'd be back so soon. I was hoping she'd be back, but I did not think it would be so soon. Oh my gosh, I'm unbelievably happy. Carol. I love Carol. Clapping for Carol. But yeah, they're all fine. They found each other. They are the biggest group, I believe. And then the 3rd group was Maggie, Sasha, and then that other guy whose name I can't remember. I still cannot get his name. After all these episodes, it's probably something easy too, like Joe or Bob. But whatever it is, I don't remember it. But Maggie is desperate to find Glenn. Sasha's a little nervous. Joe or Bob here is just going with the flow. But they found a bus. Maggie thought Glenn was in there. Turns out he wasn't, because the 4th group is Glenn and some other girl that was on the governor's side. And they escaped the prison together because they both got left. And I would say they were the smallest group, tied with Beth and Daryl, except they were discovered by these big military dudes at the end. They look tough, they look scary, so wonder what's gonna happen there. But either way, if I'm remembering right, that's just about everyone, aside from Rick, Carl, and Michonne, and the previous episode. But yeah, that should be everyone. We saw where they were, and I think next episode we're gonna see where they all end up, which is hopefully together, because I don't know if I could deal with bouncing back and forth all crazy between characters like this. It's gonna be hard to remember, keep track of anyone. But for now, this is fine. I'm excited to see where it goes now that the whole prison thing is done. And yeah, Leopold the Brave out.